is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Good evening and welcome to the News at 7. I'm Rafael Sanchez. A beautiful summer day in Indianapolis. As you can see from our drone cam 6, what a view today. It's also shaping up to be a beautiful evening. Storm Team 6 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory with all the details as you plan to grill or maybe bike outside or just do something fun. Hey, Kevin.
It's all about the lower humidity and relatively comfortable temperatures. Throw in the sunshine as well. Look what happens when you get the wind off of the lake. It's 77 in Gary, Indiana, 86 in Bloomington. Now these were high temperatures, by the way. Temperatures right now still about the same, 85 in Bloomington, 84 in Indy, down into the low 70s, northern Indiana. Here's the reason. That north wind and out of the northeast has lowered the temperature modestly, definitely lowered the humidity and set us up for our coolest night within the 7-day planner, and for many of us, the coolest night we've had in over 2 weeks. Show you the radar. We don't need this tonight or tomorrow. Wednesday, our chance for thunderstorms will increase really Wednesday night, overnight into Thursday morning. Temperatures tonight down to 61 in the metro area. I think outlying areas have a chance at the upper 50s, but notice how we step up quickly with low temperatures returning closer to 70 degrees.
Kevin, thank you so much. Now at 7, we are following a heartbreaking story out of Puerto Rico. Public safety officials there say a 1-year-old girl from Indiana died after falling from the 11th floor of a Royal Caribbean ship. That girl was traveling with her parents, siblings, and grandparents on the Freedom of the Seas. The family lives in Granger, just outside of South Bend. The girl's father is a South Bend police officer. Investigators say the ship was docked in San Juan when the girl fell out of a window. She was playing with her grandfather at the time. We're told that the girl's family will remain in Puerto Rico while the investigation continues this evening. The federal trial of an accused Indianapolis drug kingpin will continue tomorrow, and that could last for the next 6 weeks. Richard Grundy and 4 other men are on trial. A jury was selected today, and opening arguments will begin Tuesday. Grundy allegedly ran a drug operation that sold cocaine, meth, marijuana, and heroin. He was arrested in 2017, along with more than 20 other people, all facing federal drug charges. Most of those people have since pleaded guilty. Today, Indianapolis' faith leaders introduced a new initiative designed to combat gun violence. Several churches are teaming up with Connect to Help 211 with their plan called Talk It Out, Don't Shoot It Out. The goal is to have people call 211 to talk out their problems instead of pulling the trigger. With 159 murders just last year, the highest on record for the city, pastors say things need to change.
There are some people that are apprehensive about calling 911, so they feel like, okay, now the police is for sure is involved. While if they call 211, hey, I saw something, it may or may not be anything. Also, the police is not going to roll up at my door and ask me any questions if I call 211.
Leaders are putting up signs throughout different communities reminding people to call 211. They're also working with Metro Police to find out where the resources are needed. The namesake of Indy's Holy Cross neighborhood is being taken apart piece by piece. People living near Holy Cross Catholic Church on the Near East Side have watched as the church shut its doors. Now the Archdiocese is selling its parts, most recently the historic stained glass windows, which are being moved to another church in southern Indiana. Holy Cross was named one of the most endangered landmarks in our state, but some hold out hope for the building's future.
There have been a couple different proposals already being discussed, primarily focused around housing. We've talked about could an event center go into the building, something that would allow the space to continue in its current configuration.
More details now at 7. Repairing the damage to that building could cost at least $2 million. The current measles outbreak in the U.S. shows no sign of slowing down. According to the Centers for Disease Control, the number of cases nationwide stands at 1,109 as of last week. That's up 14 cases in the previous week and the highest number reported in the U.S. since 1992. Cases have been confirmed in 28 states. A new study out tonight says that marijuana use by teenagers is dropping in places that have legalized weed. researchers looked at states that have legalized recreational marijuana. And what they found is the following: an 8% decline in teens using marijuana over the last 30 days, and a 9% decline for those who used it 10 times in the last 30 days. Experts say more research is needed to determine why this association was present. Teenage marijuana use is not legal in any state. Users must be at least 21 years old. Iran is making good on its threats of retaliation after the U.S. pulled out of its nuclear agreement. ABC's Karen Travers shows you how Iran is now struggling to cope with new economic sanctions.
President Trump last year pulled the U.S. out of the Iran nuclear agreement, and now Iran says it's fulfilling a pledge to break its own commitments as it struggles under U.S. sanctions. Iran today crossing another line. The UN's nuclear watchdog confirming Iran is enriching uranium above the agreed-upon limit set by world powers in the 2015 nuclear deal, a move that could put Iran back on the path to possibly building a nuclear bomb. It's still a long ways off, and Iran maintains it has no intention to do so. Instead, Iran's immediate goal is to try and gain leverage in negotiations to get European nations to help minimize the pain from crippling economic sanctions the Trump administration put in place. Vice President Pence today said the U.S. would meet Iran at the negotiating table.
America will never allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon.
Tensions remain high between the U.S. and Iran after Iran shot down a U.S. drone and President Trump called off airstrikes at the last minute. The president on Sunday issuing a vague warning.
Iran better be careful, because you enriched for one reason, and I won't tell you what that reason is, but it's no good. They better be careful.
Several key U.S. allies in Europe stayed in the nuclear agreement even after the U.S. left. But now they say their own cooperation depends on Iran's compliance. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
And now at 7, taking a look at Democracy 2019 and the race for Indianapolis mayor. A man trying to get on the November ballot as an independent candidate is accusing Marion County of disenfranchising voters. John Schmitz needs 6,106 signatures from registered voters in Marion County to get on the ballot. He presented the Marion County officials about 8,000, but many were thrown out because the signees isn't registered or their address does not match their voter registration. Schmitz believes some of the signatures were mistakenly disqualified.
It's really set up to be an unwinnable situation. And that's what's very frustrating, because I feel like we've done the work. I feel like the people we've talked to want us on the ballot.
In response, the Marion County Board of Voter Registration disagrees with Schmidt's claim that mistakes were made. Schmidt said he plans on challenging at least 1,000 signatures and has discussed possibly filing a lawsuit. Still ahead on the news at 7, the future of healing heading to space. How local students are using zero gravity to test their research. But first, let's check in with Kevin.
Well, you can draw a big circle of sunshine around Indiana today. Closest thunderstorms out to the west. We'll talk about their arrival on Wednesday coming up.
Back to School Family Day and Chiodas. This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
More news here at 7. Indianapolis medical students could be one step closer to finding a cure for broken bones after their research gets blasted into space later this month.
That's what we're studying, is bone loss and fracture risk, and how can we enhance fracture repair after an injury.
And that's key because not all bones heal. A team of 8 medical students have been working on a solution and faster ways to heal those fractures. The second phase of the research project will be on the next SpaceX rocket, which blasts off for the International Space Station on July the 21st. The students will test the effectiveness of new drugs on broken bones in a weightless environment.
So we have new technology that was just patented in April, and this is what we're testing, this new technology versus what the surgeons currently use in the OR, and which will be better, and how can we help improve outcomes for all patients.
Let's put this all in perspective. Doctors say 1 in 2 women and 1 in 4 men over the age of 55 will develop fractures in their bones at some point, and these new drugs could help. Heavy rain set off a flash flood warning and complicated the morning commute. As you can see in Washington, D.C., vehicles were stranded on roads and water rose as high as 3 feet in some areas. In Maryland, witnesses spotted a school bus filled with kids heading to camp, driving through high water and swerving, you should never do that, around other vehicles. In Arlington, Virginia, a river rose so high it touched the top, as you can see, of that bridge. And take a look at this. Even 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue was not immune to the flooding. The White House press area was flooded by a leak. You can't make that up. Now time to check your forecast. No rain in the forecast. No humidity in the forecast, or very low humidity. But what a nice day today.
Yeah, it's a nice change from where we've been and where we will be. We're in a state of perfection. That doesn't last long. We'll talk about these changes that come back. Nothing too warm across the country, except for where you would expect it. I mean, Vegas is over 100 degrees, 93 in New Orleans, but throughout the Midwest and the Northeast, temperatures about where they should be this time of year. 84 degrees in Indy. 81 in Peru. We mentioned northern Indiana. Gary in the 70s because of the north breeze off of Lake Michigan. Temperature right now down in the heart of Johnson County. Greenwood at 87, 83 in Edinburgh, and also in Greenfield. Say hello to Kingsley. He's a little pup, and I can tell you this, Kingsley, my hair was that dark one day. I think you'll have some grays next time I see you. Kingsley off for a walk this evening in nice conditions. Light breeze out of the north. Temperatures work their way down to 73 by the time we get to 11 o'clock tonight. If you're counting, it's been 17 days for Indianapolis since we've been in the 50s. I think Indy, the official temperature probably stays at 60 or above, but just in the outlying areas, the temperatures drop into the 50s, especially north of Indianapolis with the lower humidity. Maybe you've got the windows open this evening, give the air conditioning a little break. You'll need it though. Again, temperatures tomorrow at 88, but the humidity remains low. A different story Wednesday. As we push 90, the humidity comes right back up. That will be the spark for our next chance for thunderstorms. Not tomorrow, lots of sunshine, just some fair weather afternoon clouds. Wind will be out of the east and rather light. Temperatures from north to south, all around 85 to 89, just depending on the cloud cover that builds up in the afternoon hours. As we look at Wednesday, chance for severe storms, slight risk northwest Indiana, a low risk for much of central Indiana, and I think the threat will come later Wednesday night. That's 7 o'clock. By 11, thunderstorms entering northwest Indiana, and we'll try to drop southeast from there. 7-day planner, temperatures over the next 7 days develop into a warming trend by the time we get to Saturday. 90 degrees, and we've got 3 in a row at least as we go through Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But the real chance for rain is only Wednesday. Dry other than that.
Keep the AC and that fan on overtime. Mr. Gregory, thank you so much. Coming up in our Hiring Hoosiers report, the right mix to reach success, the power of an idea, and then the power of coffee. We'll have to see that one. Plus, the hometown idea, the team that made the call to create the latest sensation in cell phone covers. Hiring Hoosiers next, right here, only on RTV6.
Zoo.com.
A new week and our commitment remains the same. Hiring Hoosiers, RTV6's initiative to help connect you to jobs, education, and training. Now, before next week's big Shark Tank open call here in Indy, we want to showcase Hoosier entrepreneurs and their success stories. We begin with a family-owned business out of Brownsburg. They took a favorite morning beverage, combined it with catering, and now their cup runneth over with profits.
My wife and I, we were thinking about what can we do as a family business that we could involve our kids.
Doyle Lowry says he wanted to combine his love for coffee and people. That's when the idea for A Cup Above Coffee Catering began to brew.
The first event we did before we had an espresso machine is when they did their community theater, and we did the intermission with drip coffee and some smoothies.
It was a success, and now, almost 15 years later, Doyle and Debbie find themselves still poring over the work at places like Genesis.
Well, the exciting part about this, being mobile, you don't have as much overhead. We have a commissary, but we do not have a coffee shop. So the overhead isn't as high. And another advantage of this, just like this, you know, we come into businesses and schools and organizations, and we roll in and set up, and basically we're a coffee shop that comes to you. Thank you very much.
Admittedly, the two say it wasn't all sugar and cream at first.
For me, it was really exciting because I have that entrepreneurial spirit. So I was very excited about taking this idea and running with it. But yeah, there is a side that's scary. And, you know, it's like, is it going to work? Are we going to make it? Are we going to pay the bills? And it started slow. It took time to build, and it's grown through the years. And now we look back and go, wow, look where we've come.
Their advice to other entrepreneurs: study up on what you want to do and stay caffeinated.
I would just say start small and be patient, and I would just feel like, you know, as you're working towards something, always keep the end goal in mind. Like our mission statement was to serve others, and even though there were times that we just were exhausted, you know, just keep going back to that and doing our work as for unto the Lord. We just knew that that was our goal and kept us going.
That was Meredith Barrick reporting. We asked the Doyles if they are Doyle and Debbie, if they were going to showcase their business in front of Shark Tank producers next week. They tell us they don't quite feel ready and think it's a pretty big step, but maybe one day. All the best to them. You can read more about the Shark Tank event next week right now on our website, hiringhoosiers.com. And be sure to join us tomorrow on Good Morning Indiana as we look at free resources to take your small business from startup to the next level. Taking another look at entrepreneurs of Central Indiana, our Amanda Starantino shows you how two Hoosiers, they turned their idea to something really big thanks to the benefits of scooching in Noblesville.
Noblesville, the place to go for an outdoor concert. The Indianapolis suburb is now the home to these sounds too. This is Scooch, and these guys, who met just a few years ago as a soccer dad and a soccer coach, are the brains behind the 3.5-year-old cell phone case and accessory company.
We started Scooch basically from scratch.
Matt Foley and John Stagg put their heads together and found a way to fill a void. Their idea, a phone case with versatile one-handed use.
We started working with it and started interviewing a lot of local retailers. And when we started coming out with it, it took off like gangbusters. And so we were out selling some of the local stores here, you know, the #1 brand in the world. And it really exploded.
Scooch is currently offered in 6,000 retail environments across the U.S. and Canada.
We've grown from, zero 3.5 years ago with an idea to today. Our revenues were roughly $6 million this year. And, that's been growth. Every year we've at least doubled our revenues.
This company didn't get to this point without some help.
We relied heavily on the local community, business community, to help us get going and starting.
Even the mayor's office was involved in getting Scooch moving.
One of the greatest things that I felt when we started is the support from actually the local community and really the local government. So they didn't show up for asking money. Hey, how can I help you? What are the things that we need to do as a community, local to Noblesville? What can we do to help you?
While Scooch was able to use local resources to build their company, they now use their product to give back to their community.
We wanted to kind of give back to the community too, because we've got unbelievable support from the local community of purchasing our product and pitching our product to their friends all over the United States.
The charity Prevail, right down the street from Scooch headquarters, the nonprofit helps victims of domestic abuse and crime get the support they may not get elsewhere. It's a partnership Scooch wears proudly on their product packaging. And as the company continues to expand, Foley and Stagg say they don't have plans on leaving their Noblesville home anytime soon.
There's so many reasons why it's really good to be here. Talent and location and support.
Our Amanda Starantino reporting another Hoosier inspiration there. Scooch currently has 9 employees, all Hoosiers. They plan to hire more people in the future as their company expands. Go to hiringhoosiers.com and our Hiring Hoosiers Facebook group, where Scooch's founder gives advice to entrepreneurs about what they can do with their idea right now. Still ahead, the big box retailer encouraging employees to play around with virtual reality technology. How the chain is using simulations to identify certain workers. That's right next on the News at 7.
Savings on the Tucson. Offers end July 8th.
So virtual reality could earn Walmart employees a real-life pay increase. USA Today reports that Walmart is using VR to help decide which workers deserve promotions. The company is using the technology to test how employees handle both routine and high-stress situations. These tests can help hiring managers decide who deserves more responsibility. Walmart first introduced the virtual reality 2 years ago as a training tool in 30 Walmart academies. According to the report, 10,000 employees have now used that technology. We'll see how it ends up.
All sunshine today means it was a routine weather day across central Indiana. Temperatures tonight, we're poised to have a rather cool night relative to where we've been, down to 61. Temperatures upper 60s the rest of the week. Tomorrow will start cool by lunchtime already, above 80 and 88 for the high.
Thanks for making RTV6 your choice for news. Our next newscast tonight at 11. Have a good evening.